इसको अनम्यूट कर रहा हूँ ना, म्यूट कर रहा हूँ ना।
I would like to, please, I would like to talk. DSPSR,
ठीक है
NCR remote, directly global news channels and
मैं घुमाता रहूंगा सर
university. And I think Mr. Vinny Sinha is not here with us right now. He'll be here in very soon. Mr. Puneet Gupta, Head of Legal Compliance and Future Innovation. Mr. Mandeep Sharma, Public Secretary, Future Innovations. We are fully honored by your visit. At this moment, I kindly request our respected actors, Mr. Mandeep Sharma, and your director global three channels and also policy regulations as a token of appreciation. And it's not sure whether this is that Mr. Puneet Gupta, Head of Legal Compliance and Future Innovation. Mr. Mandeep Sharma, Public Secretary, Future Innovations. We are very honored by your visit. And this is the law and I request our Come forward for please.
welcome
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to request Dr. Mahesh Sharma again, kindly present this to Miss India Vilka.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am and sir. Mr. Sir, I request you to kindly present this to Mr. Puneet Gupta. Sir, I request you to kindly present to Mr. Naman. So please. Sir, I request you to kindly present it to Mr. Mandeep Sharma.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Director sir. Thank you all the dignitaries. We are truly honored to buy your presence. At this moment, I kindly request our respected director, sir, Professor Dr. Mandeep Sharma, please present for us. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So please, I request Professor Director Mahesh Sharma to address Kelly and share the vision behind launch of the international developments. Sir, over to you.
Very good morning to all the dignitaries sitting on the panel of the staff members and already the students from first year to final year. It is my great privilege to say something about this event. Actually, DSPSR has been thinking a lot about its students since this inception of the college. And this year, we have come up with some innovative idea for the sake of you people, for the sake of your higher education purpose, for the sake of you all people to work outside India. Everybody knows that if anyone goes outside, there is only one objective, is to settle down over there, to earn money in dollars, in euro or in pounds. And I'm not going to throw much light on this event and what we people, why we people are over here, and what we people are going to learn from such august gathering, from such galaxy of intellectuals. But yes, we people are going to learn something new. That the very first and great initiative by the college in collaboration with Future Edition. And the things these galaxy of intellectuals is going to discuss with you people. It is going to be new thing, innovative things, and remarkable, and it is going to put some impressions into your hearts, into your brain. Thank you so much to all the dignitaries for being a part of this event, and I'm not going to open everything right now, but after learning a lot of things from these people, you will go back to your homes with some new things regarding your careers, regarding your employability factors. Thank you so much once again. Thank you, and I wish you all happy life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words in the next. I would like to invite.
We made the first market in India. We made the first connected car for Reva. So it's not good experiences. Today I am the struggling for the future technology analyst there. And there's a lot of things including marketing business. When I used to work for Technogra, we used to learn why academia is not able to provide us the skilled resources that are required to work with us in the companies. Today I am the board member of 15 startups invested in startups. I am board of multiple technology now. And that's what I start thinking that there's a huge amount of requirements in the industry for skilled resources. And there are so many people in India who are ready to work, but that gap is extremely high. But what we really want in the industry and what academia has been able to provide. So while this was the kind of challenges we have been facing, the second thing that happened is the globalization, because I used to live in Dublin for a long time. I was living in Europe. And as part of the global network of digital business, I personally traveled to 50 countries in the world and met so many people, learned about them, and many times I could feel that their students having much more skill to come and start working in the industry than people students in there. So the gaps I could see as a leader in the corporate world was one that the industry there is a requirement and the gap is too high because the gap is languages. The second, I would see that the countries like United States, United Kingdom, Australia, they have been able to create a curriculum and a pedagogy by which the students can not only learn, but they are skilled enough to immediately start working. So I'm not sure how many of you are aware of the company called Infosys. You know that? Yes, sir. You know the bank order. In the initial team, there were 6, 7 people who were founders of Infosys, and one of them was Dr. Manoj Bhat. Before coming to that, around 30 years back, a letter came to our man that people, students will be coming from the industry. Should be training in process so that they can become productive for the company. So for thousands, so there was Narayan competitors put a zero in front of that thousand and made it. So the accounts department came rushing and said, "Sir, you put a zero. We wanted only 1,000." They said, "No, I wanted to be for 10,000. That's why I put a zero. Because there will be huge need for students coming to our college, so coming to our company, and we are supposed to train them. That means around 30 years back, the problem was its existence. And even today, that problem is in existence. And the Tech Mahindra head for the northern region, I used to hire from the companies, from the academia. And then used to do 6 months training. a B.Tech, coming up 4 years of B.Tech, it would be 6 months of training in our institute, and then they will be put into projects. Correct. And then yesterday, were training them. But because the kind of compliances, the regulation, 10 years back, I was just telling to Andrea that Mohan Pai, who was the CFO of Infosys, who used to be a case study for us. You know, when I was doing my MCA from IIT Ghaziabad, we used to study about Mohan Pai, the I know team, and we used to admire all of that. So Mohan Pai was the CFO, Chief Finance Officer of Infosys, and one of the investor and co-founder of Infosys. I got an opportunity to be in a diet with him from 10 years back. But I just want to tell you, one of the board meetings, you know, the board meeting happens, you know, like 6 of us sitting here, showing our faces and smiling. But there's a possibility that we both might have fought something on a particular topic. Me and Puneet might have disagreed to a topic. But when we come out, we are a team. We have discussed, debated. In a similar fashion, there is a team meeting, there is a board meeting that is going on, and there's a discussion, debate between the HR head and the CFO. And who's the CFO? Mohan Pai. And in the end, Mohan Pai, who is the owner of the company, founder of the company, said, from today onwards, I am the head of HR. And I'm moving myself out of the role of CFO. So today onwards, I'll become the head of HR. He said, I do it. In a similar fashion, I thought I plan to keep some credibility about saying that yeah, it's responsibility to provide the scale resources required for the industry. So we need to start with some. From the concrete challenges that you have faced from the side of Canada to get the scale resources and seeing 50 countries of the world, see what learning I can get from them. And then there's another person who's not sitting with us right now. His name is Manish Manupra. Manish, 30 years back, traveled to Australia and he did his studies. And after his studies there, he started his own college. And Puneet has been working with him since that time. And he started that college in Australia, college started running, and then they were able to have their own campuses in Sydney and Melbourne. Then he came to Singapore, he had an office in Canada, and he left his brain and started living in the United Kingdoms. Again, it was because you were telling me, यार मुझे तो पढ़ाना ही आता है और मुझे एजुकेशन सिस्टम चलाना आता है. Then he started his own organization, which was employability line in the UK. And it was so much of work, so much of participation of friendship in the academic world that is been able to utilize that academia time. Okay. Now, a person who lived in Australia, who is an Australian citizen, having 2 colleges in Australia, traveled to Singapore for 2 years, then going to UK, spending again 5 years there, starting another company, but totally 30 years of academic experience. And that to not Indian academic experience, but what? International academic. From the countries like Australia, UK, Singapore, Canada. And why I'm saying these countries? Because they are very important because when we were, I'm sort of saying, were ruled by British, they created a systems. The kind of regulatory framework among all these 4 countries is similar. The legal law and compliance is required. But they have been able to grow themselves in a different kind of pedagogy. To understand how this pedagogy? Pedagogy is a way of teaching. Okay? They created a new pedagogy. You have heard of an organization called CBSE. What CBSE does? CBSE does assessment and gives certificates for class 10 and 13. Right? So they do assessment. Then you have heard of an organization called NCERT. What do they do? They give books. They create curriculum. So CBSE says this is a 10th syllabus. I will take tests of students for the class of 10. This is a syllabus for which I take a test for the class of 12. I provide certificate, and these certificates are valid across India and across globe for future science. What NCRT does, they create curriculum for all classes. But there is nobody who talks about pedagogy, how to teach. The whole Indian organization doesn't have a organization which should research in pedagogy. You do not have a way of telling. This is the way you should teach. Innovators work because that gives you a flexibility on how you teach. So with future ed, we create a pedagogy which is saying learn, solve, and now you have it. Why by learning? You will be learning. But you will be asked to do solve the problem. And then you have to come and tell the others and say why my solution is the best solution. Exactly. Great students. So you have done learn, solve, and now where will you get that problems from? You will get that problems from the industry. And where will you reach? You will reach in front of the international people will be able to tell you the right way of this and whether your solution is right or not. And that's how we and Manish met, and we tried that we can bring that pedagogical advantage of the West and bring it to India. And because personally I'm in the corporate world, I thought it's no more I could sit at the outside and start cribbing about the academic class. I have to come to the academy. And that's how we and Money started this company called User Innovation. By participating in this, we will be coming with a new kind of pedagogy, which is learn, solve, and what we'll be able to do is to bring the international entities. What we'll be able to do, we'll be able to start Australian courses in India. With by which you will be able to do certification from the Australian University. That can be on cybersecurity, that can be on web management, that can be on finance management, that can be on multiple things. For the BCA students, they can go for their technology side, for the management students, they can go for the management side. So on and so forth. And that's how so that's why sitting in India, studying in DSPSR, doing your IT college graduation, close to get up, certificate from. And simultaneously, you will also get an opportunity to work abroad, learn from the international academic issues and from the industry. Because I firstly told you that I invested in 15 companies and board director for other 15 and so many other things. So we already have those times. And my expectation, my target is that how can I have the more times in this financial year, I think by the 31st of March. So how can I do more and how can we have more industries working with us, trying to provide us problems they like to get solved. And who will solve them? Who will solve this? By studying DSPSR. So why actually help us in the future? There's another work which I do, and I have been given as a role of a chief mentor of DSPSR. I'm not sure how many of you are aware. Do you know this? Okay. So Ajay Kumar Singh is a very close friend like an elder. And we both have been part of the same organization where he is the head and I'm reporting to him. And he brought me here last year. I met these students here. And then I felt that we have to start this innovation from here. Because of Ajay, who is like elder to me, we thought that this is the right place for us to start. So what we are trying to do is to see how in your curriculum we can embed the Australian courses, which will make you have not only a degree from IT college, IT university, in whatever courses you are doing, but can also bring you certifications from Australia. We have opened a small room downstairs for the international development center where we will hire any few of you. We won't hire somebody from. We like to hire somebody from. We won't pay them. While they will be studying here, they will also be working as the IDC center head or salesperson or the coordinators for future innovation studios here in your college. They will be studying here and they will be reporting to somebody from our team so that they can train them, they can tell them, they can have more. So there's an option for you all to apply. And among all of you, we will be taking two who will be with us, whom we will be paying salaries. And we'll be training them and we'll be making them work for user information service. The kind of job which they are supposed to do will be to tell people about what are the kind of sources, what are the imposable benefit, what are the kind of certificates, and what certificates can help you in making you more informative. Because what we will get is a certificates from certificates. Correct? Why is it again? DSPSR and not paying in dollars but paying in it's part of the curriculum. So that's the kind of differentiated value we should know, right? First, the case studies to solve or problems to solve from the data. Solving them and fixing them with a different kind of pedagogy and getting a degree or getting a certificate from. That's what we're starting here now. From today onwards, this is to you who all will be partnered to all them do it. And this is yeah, DSPSR is the only place in the whole of this region this will be doing it. Okay. So that is a benefit for you all that will be part of DSPSR, that you will be benefit very because of this. Now there's another thing as part of them. You know, there's a lot of, I would say, interest among the Indians to go abroad and study and sometimes also to work. Currently, I'm saying currently, the US dollars and the Indian rupee has an exchange rate, which is making dollar much more valuable than Indian rupee. Okay. So, I was in Europe for a long time and I was earning there. And I sometimes smile to say that whatever was my earning and saving in Dublin, I have not been able to achieve that much here today because of the currency exchange. So if I had a house there, that would have given me much more return than a house here because the dollar has also appreciated, or the euro has also appreciated, the pound has also appreciated. I'm just telling this to India in front of when the VR is in habit, the pound moved from 101 rupee to 80. And all my friends were buying the property in London. Well, they all knew that now my 80 rupee can give me a pound, which was 101 rupee earlier. Correct? And what did they do? They bought a flag. So in say 80 lakh rupees, they can get a 100,000 pound equivalent house. Now that house must have appreciated, but the pound has appreciated to 105. You understand what I'm saying? So if they will sell it, at $100,000 pound, even that $100,000, that means the property has not appreciated. In case they feel that the property has not appreciated, even then, because the pound has moved from 80 rupees to 105. Instead of 80 lakhs, what will they get? 1 crore and 5 lakhs. Okay? Only because of the currency appreciation, they have earned in few years that much more. So a lot of my friends did it. Okay, that was very smart, not me. Because I didn't do that. But the thought is that there is a different kind of life, different kind of things to do abroad, and you can have a different kind of employability of the job. What they have known, and these are the kind of rules which are there. In Australia, you need to study or be there for 2 years before you get a work visa. How many? 2 years. But in UK, the rule is for 1 year, 12 months. Sorry,
1 year post-study.
1 year, and that you can get 1 year.
Yes.
post-study.
3 years.
2 years. Visa.
Yeah, post-study work.
Post-study work visa for 2 years. Okay. Now, if you study there for 1 year, you will get 2 years work study. So what we are trying to say is that because you already have policies in Australia, we are offering you another thing. That you can study for first year in India. And then you can go to Australia college for 2 years. And get the work visa and work there. And while you study, you can also work. Which means that you start earning. And if you want to go to UK, will study in India here for 2 years. So you can get the same degree, same diploma, master's degree, second diploma here in India from a UK university at a price of Indian university. Okay. And then you can go for 2 years in Australia, study and then work, or 1 year in UK, study there, work. And that's the kind of option that we call that last phase, 2+1 or 1+2. And that's something which I say that financially it's viable. Because most of the universities in Australia or in UK are government universities. The availability of loans, study loan is also easy. Yours, they are the colleges which we are trying to offer, which we are partnered with, they all are government universities. So getting the loans is also not difficult. You'll be able to get loans easily if you want to go abroad. And that means while you're studying with us, and you can go abroad. And that's that kind of option if you are doing students here, only in DSPSR. And maybe for the first and second option, people can also come and do a different class. But DSPSR, which is my governance institute, I think I'm asking and it's the first investigation they're starting this user participation and creation of that international development center. Something which I believe is going to bring a lot of benefits to the students here. The amount of thought he has or seeing how can we benefit more the students studied in this college. Something helped us to start the same thing. Today, Andrea is also here with us, and she's going to talk about how this our partnership with UK University will help all of you and how this partnership will grow and help. The first thing, as part of the course curriculum, we are adding this consideration of Australian courses, which will make you get more certificates from the Australian University. That will make you more employable across the globe. We are trying to work and change the pedagogy, the way you study, with solve, learn, solve, and teach. With the learn part, because of huge amount of industry collaboration that we have, the problem will come from directly from ground. We are trying to see how can we help you make interventions, and then some, if you participate in the 2+1 or 1+2, along with the arts, and we give ideal here. The imagine a second year student here can enroll, or the first year or second year student enroll in this particular part. So after 2 years, they will have a certificate diploma from the University of Australia, and then they can go to either UK or to Australia. If they go to Australia, they have to further study to get the visa to work. But in UK, after 1 year, they will get a visa to work. Okay. Any questions? Any thought? Does it look sounds good or different? I think it is different. There is no upside this kind of thing getting loans in India. The government they are trying to do internationalization of education. They are already working towards with internationalization of education. If anybody interested in going to Australia or UK, will be their partners. And all of you from the very perspective will start studying in the pedagogy, which is to learn solving things. We will bring data stream. We will bring data academics. We will bring partnerships with the universities, with engineers, with representing and right now, with the university. So we're going to have partnership with the university. We're going to have partnership with industry. We're going to take pedagogy. We're going to give you the opportunity to go abroad and study. That's all from our side. It's not it from today. Thank you very much for being here. This is to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your very valuable insights and for your continued support in shaping global reform for us today. I would like to request Mr. Mohammed and our director sir to kindly come forward and explain the MOU as well.
Now.
This is the MOU which we have signed with them. Yeah. So, now,
You kindly, it's time to.
you.
Thank you so much, sir. Oh, that's great. So we now move forward towards exciting segment where industry internationals perspectives come together. I invite Ms. Andrea, Director Global News Channels and Market Coventry University, to enlighten us on global pathway and international exposure opportunities for our. Yeah, ma'am, and what do you do? Thanks so much. Namaste, everyone. Presentation about that one. Right, students, I'm Andrea Wilmons, I come from the UK, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here today. Dr. Rishi already shared a very insightful synopsis of what the opportunities are for you and the really exciting partnership that we have just started today, and how you benefit from it. Learn solve new pedagogy that's going to stand you apart amongst any other friends that study any other school, and the opportunities that you have as soon as you see yourself discharged from Australian University and the pathways available to you should you wish to proceed to study in Australia, further studies, or the UK, or anywhere else. The sky is the limit. So, for the purpose of today, I'm going to talk to you about Coventry University, which is based in the UK. I'm the Global Director of Student Recruitment there, and I'm just going to talk you through number one, the UK as a destination. What it's like, what you could expect from it. Generally speaking, and then what you should be aware of. Of course, I think will be about our location, our scholarships, our courses, all the support that you'll be receiving, and what we will, as a university, do to ensure that we set you up for success as soon as you're writing the today. But actually, before that, because our support will be delivered to you at school level as we work in partnership with teachers and the school, basically. Students, I recommend you make the most of it. I will give you about 20 minutes, so please spend the time to listen. It's about your future. And as a very wise man, Mahatma Gandhi once says, the future depends on what you do today, and my recommendation is to you listen for 20 minutes. Right? So, students, first of all, we've got more students coming. Please settle down fast. Krishna? Please settle down fast.
Give you 5 minutes. Everyone can be started. Maria. So we can wait for another 5 minutes. So
Please.
it's really good. Yeah, very crucial 15 minutes, so please pay attention, students. Cambridge University is a government university based in the UK. But it's actually a global education provider, and it's really important to understand how that can benefit you. So, Cambridge University in the UK has a number of campuses in London, in Coventry, which is England, in the Midlands of it, and Scarborough as well. We have our own campus in Central Europe as well, in Poland. And we have branch campuses internationally in Egypt, Kazakhstan, Morocco, and this year we are opening our own branch campus in India, in Ahmedabad, right? So once you graduate from here, you will have the opportunity to either come and join us in the UK or complete a full college university degree here at the branch campus or at any of the other branch campuses in the world. This year we also opened the branch campus in Dubai. So you opportunities beyond the UK, although the UK is of course our traditional entity we've been operating since 1845. We have 6 global hubs. Students' global hubs are head offices. And we have one here in Connaught Place in New Delhi. And that serves as a head office for operations. We employ senior and junior colleagues across admissions, operations, but also researchers, academics, as we focus on enterprise innovation and making sure that we make connections with India from the point of view of employability. So when you return to India, you'll be put in contact with employers from here to support you on your career journey. So that's the purpose of that hub in India, but we have them across the world in China, Brussels, Europe, Africa, Singapore, and more to come. Just a little bit about rankings. That's probably the number one question that your parents will ask. What is the ranking of the university? It depends which ranking you're looking at. Students, my advice to you is to look at the ranking that means something to you as an outcome, as a return on investments. So, Cambridge University is number 1 in the UK for internationalization from a student perspective. Rated gold overall for teaching experience, teaching and learning. It's joint top modern university for career prospects, so this is the graduate outcome. 5 stars for inclusivity, meaning that we are very diverse campus with students from all over the world, and students are treated really well at that level. So that's what that ranking is. We're number 1 in England across 8 subjects at undergraduate level. That shows the strength and caliber of the courses. And top 10 amongst the modern universities overall as well. In terms of the student diversity, in terms of international outlook, in terms of teaching and learning and graduate outcomes to students, Coventry is the option. And some of you might have already heard about it. We're actually the most popular university in India. Number 1 recruiter of Indian students is Cambridge University, amongst any other university in the UK. And it is a place to be, and I really hope that this video plays, and if it doesn't, it's fine, we'll share it separately. This preempts a problem that we might have. But let's not do that. So instead of video, I have another one later, don't worry, you're not missing out. So, students, why the United Kingdom? And I'll just give you a little bit of flavor, generally speaking, some of the things you already know, but just think about the moment you choose your destination. It's not just about teaching and learning and your qualification. It's about the culture. It's about how well you resonate with that country, and it's about, how well you can integrate in that country, because that ultimately is then dictating how well you will be doing from a career perspective, and not only from a personal perspective, but when you settle there, perhaps. So if we stick to academia, first of all, so the UK education, it's globally recognized for its excellence, right? The UK degrees are respected worldwide, academic rigor, there's really strong quality assurance, and really high global rankings as well. In the UK, the degrees are much shorter, undergraduate degrees are 3 years, postgraduate degrees only 1 year, which means that you don't have to spend tuition fees for 2 years, for example, at postgrad level, because you only do it for 1 year. However, bear in mind that means a lot more intensity when it comes to the pace of assignments and the teaching and learning element of this. So you think in 1 year, not in 2, yes, it's a lot cheaper, but it's a lot harder. So bear that in mind. It is about career-driven learning. So of course, the mode of study in the UK is very different, right? And we do advise our students to think about that at this stage that you're at. You'll be asked to think critically, you'll be asked to work independently, you'll be asked to be part of projects that are linked to industry, consultancy projects, the real hands-on experience. Very different mode of learning from Canada, from Australia, from other destinations. So whatever suits you, start from there, really think about it, do your research before you make a decision. And then in terms of, again, world-class research and teaching, you really want to associate yourselves with an institution and a destination, a country that achieved something in the world, because that automatically will, increase your profile as well. And overall about the UK, I don't know if any of you have been, or maybe you're into football or different things, and you watch films and various other things, but beyond the world class education, there is just so much about the UK, from landscape to history. It depends what really you are into there. It's a very safe, very trustworthy place. Despite some of the rumors in the media that you get anywhere, and media is there to a certain extent manipulate the views, right? So you need to really critically thinking before you decide where to go. And it's the same everywhere, not just in the UK. But just think about this: the system in the UK is very strong, very safe, from police force to transportation. It's all reliable, and the system is really robust. That's very high on the other hand, so there's a reason for it. Healthcare system, one of the best, strongest healthcare systems in the world. It's free of charge to the UK, because you pay your healthcare surcharge, but it's not that expensive for what you get. So again, from that perspective, from a health perspective, it's really safe. It's diverse, it's inclusive, and that's probably the best and the strongest point there to take into account. Apart from that, if you are fans of football in the room, you know about the Premier League better than I do. Cricket, tennis, Wimbledon, you've got it all. Rugby, golf, sports fighting, it's all well known for that. If you have any passions, they also translate into the university campuses as well, from the sport, sports side, all these centers that you can join and the things that you can actually integrate in that actually provide sports. History, royalty, tradition, that. Royal families there, historic landmarks, all the century-old universities that you can actually go and visit. If you don't have the place, you can still go and visit them. Or, hopefully, if you want to go in there and go Highbridge, you can, Oxford, Cambridge, others as well. If you're into music, pop, the biggest stars, in the world, I say with pride. Let's not talk about Bollywood, though, in the context of pop. Because obviously you're excelling here, but TV, British humor, fashion, design, music, all of that, you're in a place. So if these are your hobbies, you can join also the different activities to work on your hobbies at the same time as working on your practical skills, academic skills. So you are in a very open place of opportunities. You're into nature, countryside, lifestyle, all that is there. Shopping, London, nightlife, you name it. Very important though, if you think about innovation and discovery, and again, if you want to study in some of the universities that have some linkage with it, for example, science and innovation, Newton, Darwin, Fleming, all of these, just think about how the universities are actually linked to that. So if you think about engineering, for example, if that's just pick a subject, right? That's something that you want to take forward. Just think about how will that university be linked to the sector, and what employers do they work with, what partners do they have, and therefore what job opportunities will I have. So for example, our students, because they partner with Jaguar Land Rover, our students have the opportunity to do a work placement with Jaguar Land Rover once they study. When they graduate, they could get a job with Jaguar Land Rover. And that is probably one of the best employers that you can have on your CV, having studied in engineering in the UK. So put all of this theory in practice, as in be selfish. What does it mean to you if your parents choose to invest into your education for the UK, and make sure you make the right decision? So just very quickly about our academic offering, and I will talk about the partnership that we have with the school and the future ed, and exactly specifically what that means to you. But broadly speaking, there are opportunities and it's your choice as to which way you want to proceed. As I mentioned earlier on, campuses in the UK and Poland, 4 campuses in London, Coventry City is all about Coventry University, everywhere you go, Scarborough is up north, and Poland is Central Europe. In Poland, we teach British degrees as well, in English, of course, so you let them get on university degree. And these are all the different campuses, so I've just kind of structured them like this so that you can visually kind of relate to it somehow. So you can do undergraduates, you can do postgraduates, you can do PhD research, you can do CPD, continuous professional development, you can do leadership courses. It's the entire life cycle of the learner that we provide, actually from foundation all the way to executive training. So we have the Faculty of Arts and Societies, Engineering, Environment and Science, Healthcare, Health and Care, Business and Law, and then we've got the specialized area, especially in London, with international business and various different combinations. But amongst all of our campuses, we have over 267 courses at undergraduate level, and then over sort of 50 courses at postgraduate level in all disciplines. The portfolio gets revised every other year to ensure that it's relevant to the world that we operate in. As you know, AI, sustainability is taking over, so the courses have to also adapt, and this is why our portfolio is reviewed and revised every 2 years. These are all the courses that we do, but of course, I want listed to remember all of that. Scholarships are always there. Students, very, very good competitive scholarships, depending on the sort of level of study, but you can expect about £2,000, £3,000 per year. If you join us on 2+1 on the top up, that's obviously you get £2,000 off, plus you want to stay and progress through master's degree another year, you get another £2,000 off. And at that point, you also get an alumni discount, which is 25% off overall, right? So in terms of academic strengths, you get all the professional accreditations, depending on what you want to study. And this is really, really important. And you need to be careful because so many other universities provide similar courses but without the professional accreditation, and you're missing out. And you might be spending more money, and you might be able to get a job on the back of it because others might have studied at college or other institutions that offer them accreditation part of the course. So we provide accreditations for most of our courses. So I talked about the scholarships. Tuition fees could be anything between £16,000 per year. And depending on the location, of course, London is more expensive, and postgraduate is about £30,000 a year. So just put that in the context of the other destinations and how much they charge. For example, the US tuition fees are double, but also the courses are double the length. So the money that you spend overall plus accommodation, plus tuition, your living costs, very, very expensive. Whereas normally the UK is kind of reasonable in terms of tuition fees. It's still a lot of money though. So decision required, make sure you make the right decision. I already mentioned these students, but you can start anything from foundation to undergrad, postgrad, CPD, PhD, and you can continue between sort of, from one level to another, and then you get a really good alumni discount if you do that. Academic portfolio, very quickly, I spoke about. So we've got courses that are, niche specialized, more generic, it depends which majors you have and what you want to do going forward. You find all the combinations available, over 400 courses overall at all levels. Now, what's the hopefully get? It's not just about the course, it's not just about the academic rigor. It is about how is that linked to you becoming employable, because you do actually eventually want the job, right? That's when you graduate. So you need to be really, really careful here. Make sure you understand what each university does for you once you're on campus. And once you understand that, make sure you engage the support that is offered to you, because that's included in your tuition fee, right? So first of all, at Coventry, we'll assign you a success coach from day one as you arrive on campus. So that success coach will be your friends, will be your mentor, will be your coach that will help you signpost you with any issues that you have, help you become an independent thinker, help you adjust to the culture so you're not on your own. And you can choose the success coaches as well. Our student body is very diverse, our staff body is also diverse. So, dual national, I was born in Europe, I'm half Romanian, half British. This is very popular in the UK. You have a British person that could look like, somebody from Europe, somebody from India, somebody from anywhere in the world, right? It's how diverse the UK is. So this is where if you want to have a coach that is Indian, a coach that is from anywhere else, or from Britain, you can choose your coach, right? Then you get an academic personal tutor to help you with, academic writing, referencing, citation, all that kind of stuff will be beneficial for you studying. That is very specific in the UK. You will support you that, and you have an academic tutor to help you with that, on top of the lecturer that you have in the classroom that you may not always have access to, right? Study support experts, if you wish to be paired up on a mentorship scheme with a specific employer in your field of studies, we can arrange that as well. Health and well-being advisors, careers and employability services, and I'll talk about that in more detail later. Student life and union, about engagement and culture and sports and activities, all of that. So it's a holistic approach, but it's up to you to engage in it. Nobody will come to find you on campus and say, hey, I'll help you with this, or I'll give you an idea. You have to really engage in those forces that it's there. Another video, let's see, hopefully this one works. This is testimonial from a student that I wanted to share with you.
My name is Sam Afrian. I graduated from Coventry University, London, and the course was Global Business MBA. It's an amazing experience. I've always wondered when I would actually go abroad and when I would actually get from a European university. And today it seems that that particular dream has been fulfilled. And me in a gown with a hat, friends from me, and especially in a bit, it's like an attack proof. First criteria was the location, and it had to be London. And second criteria was the kind of the university is giving. MBA, as you can see in many universities, is usually really generic, but a pinch of global perspective
Working on the laptop, but it's coming on.
is something that I was using. The coach went through syllabus is something average. The first part-time job that I got here was through one of the success coaches. He helped me in developing a strategy, the way it has to be, the way we have to apply for this position. Coventry University also wanted so many companies. So we could apply to those companies and we were each providing a second. And it shows you.
Yeah. Sorry, students, it's actually not working on it's working on his laptop, not on the screen, so I'll stop it for a second. So what that student is essentially saying is that, he made the most of the resources available that we made available to him. He actually got the job as a student success coach himself. This is what he's saying, so it's a paid job. So again, probably as an employer at the same time, so you can be a student ambassador, student success coach, or any other jobs that we have advertised. And he's saying that he's had a fantastic experience and he made the most of all of the resources that were available, and he's explaining how. But I'll try to see if I can speak to your teachers here, if I can share the presentation afterwards so you can look at the videos, but sorry, not impossible on this occasion. And that's from now. Is there anybody from right. Very quickly, students, I'll tell you about employability outcomes right now, okay? So you graduated, you're in the UK, and now you're looking for a job, or once you're studying, how do you become employable, and what would we do for you specifically? How much would you be earning for, per area of study? I think keep it relevant to, the subjects that you're studying here. So first of all, as I mentioned earlier, or according to HISA, 87 to 90% of our students obtain or secure graduate jobs upon graduation. That's a very, very high percentage compared to the sector average. So if you move on, and these are the employability rates students by right? And look at some of the top employers that we work with in the sector. You can see the picture on this slide if you wish. Business and law, right? Rates there. We work with some of them on the slide. HSBC, bank, environments, technology, 9%, Jaguar, Rolls-Royce, BT Group, it's healthcare, it's NHS, Amazon, Deloitte, all of these really, really good brands. These are our partners as a university. We partner with them. So they come on campus, they talk to you, they do career fairs, mock interviews, one-to-one discussions, and sometimes you may not know that that's a real interview. On the back of the discussion, they may offer you a job, and they do that very often as well. So you get the exposure to them anyway, but you've got a door open that we open for you to secure a job. And this is where you need to research university before you go, to understand who they work with and how present are those employers in your lives as students, right? So these are some of the things that we do, big career fairs on campus, one-to-one appointments, in-class, course hours, so per course, you have an hour free where employers come, talk to you, network over breakfast, global mobility sessions. So it's not just about school, if you write a CV and a cover letter, because anybody well, you can do that. But, do it yourself. Well, of course, you can use technology, you can make most of that, but make sure it's unique to you, specific to you, that it's your story. But what I'm saying is, you don't need support to that necessarily. What you need support with somebody who open the door to employment, and that's what we do. Is it? Oh. So telling the students. Okay, you're not saying anything. Anyway, so then I think it's important to see the slides because you can see the salaries that you'll be getting per year, depending on area of study and course. Hopefully. Oh. We'll go back to the beginning. Let me just go back. I am towards the end now, so but it's actually a good point to the students. So grants. So this is just to manage expectations. So what I recommend you do first of all, just check what the national minimum wage is per hour in the UK and the national living wage. You cannot legally be paid less than that, and everyone must legally be paid. So and it's based on that. For example, if you pick business finance as an area, you can use sandwich placements. So that's a work placement that is incorporated within your undergraduate course. You can do a year in industry placements. There are roles that you can do once you study, and then of course the graduate roles that you secure once you finish your studies. If you continue to do your masters, you can do your masters in 1 year, which is the standard in the UK. But we offer you the option of doing it in a year and a half, because we incorporate the 6 months compulsory placement. You need that, and we make sure that you secure that placement. So then your master's degree can be 60 months, 80 months, you graduate, and then you have another 2 years post-study work visa to work legally in the UK. 2 years this year, from January 27 is reducing to 18 months, but it doesn't matter because your course is longer anyway. All right. So essentially, like based on business finance and governance, annual salary could be anything between £21,000 to £34,000. Now, what's that in rupees?
£21,000 would be somewhere around 22 lakhs, 30 lakhs.
22 lakhs, 22 something like that. Yeah, right. So that's that, and so that's a full-time salary, right? So once you graduate, you can do that. During your studies, you can work 20 hours per week during work term time, and full-time during Christmas break, Easter break during the UK, summer break, you can work full-time. And the hourly rates at the minute, irrespective of the job you do, the minimum is about £10.25 per hour. Was that in £10.25 or not?
25.
Yeah.
That's approximately 1,200.
£10. 1,200 rupees, yes. But that anything you do in the UK, if you work in a bar, in a restaurant, these are not skilled jobs in the UK like they are here. And students do jobs like that. It's important to get into any job because you need to get into the culture of being in the UK, working as part of the team, timekeeping, and earning money. And you earn good money. And if you're sort of, balanced and calculated in terms of your expenditure, you can actually save quite a lot of money whilst you're studying. And then that's the entry level only salary. So that can go as high as anything, right? In the UK, depending on what you do. So that's just to give you a flavor. Engineering technology, very similar, up to £34,000 a year, that's a very good salary, actually. Accommodation is available, obviously part of the university offering all private university halls, it's up to you and what budget you have. But if you want to live in a shared accommodation, you can. It depends on your preference and your budget as well, but we provide it from our end as well. So that's information about accommodation. Meet another student from Coventry. I'll share the slide afterwards, so that'll be easy to work. So if I just tell you what the progression partnerships here, students, so between the future eds, your school and Coventry, and how it's all linked together from our end, sort of in academic terms, but Dr. Wish already explained most of it, if anything. So we think about seamless global progression pathways. So these are tailored academic routes for you specifically from India to give you the opportunity to, if you wish to study in the UK, you have that. So you study 2 years here, you get your Australian diploma. With that, you can then progress to the UK for 1 year as a top-up degree as part of the partnership that we are talking about here today. And then you can stay and do your master's as well if you wish to do that. And how we work, so the Future Innovation Studios and us. So basically, Future provides an immersive learning as part of your curriculum already, right? That you're doing at school level. Immersive hands-on training that is our creativity and leadership, right? From a college university point of view, when you arrive, we are going to complement that with the academic depth in terms of the UK context. And prefer research, enterprise, and practical industry exposure, because this is where we work hand in hand. We're also all about our ethos is about practical experience for students securing a job, right? So it's all career driven, and it's all sort of curated for you. And what that means in practice is that if you apply, for example, now to come and join us in the UK, you are in a very unique position because your application process is different to that of a student that does a study here at the school. So you don't have to submit a full application. First of all, we waive all conditions, academic references, we know where you study. This is one of our partners. References, the statement letter that students sometimes worry about, transcripts of your academic results because we already work with the school, and the scholarship that you'll be getting and the support that you'll be receiving directly from our team in admissions. So that's very, very unique. So you're already part of the ecosystem, the fact that you're here today. So should you wish to proceed with, the pathway, we're here to support you. So what we have is features, so it's stage 2, level 5 entry. So you complete 2 years here, you can join us as a top-up, any of these courses. So business, international business, human resources, marketing, global business, all of these, and the cloud computing science, ethical hacking, cybersecurity, computer science, etc. So these are some of the the streams that we have available. So in terms of partnerships outcomes, again, structured progression pathways, already talked about that. It is about increased mobility if you want to go to the UK, Australia, or anywhere else where we have campuses as well. Enhanced employability, and is that strategic alignment from an academic perspective, as I mentioned, it's all integrated and already will be delivered to you by the school. How to apply here, so we can share the slides afterwards. You apply directly, somebody in our team will be in contact with you, and you are already treated, preferentially because you are a student of very strong partnership that we have here. Yeah, you receive support from us directly with application process, with visa, with all of that stuff. So there's less to worry about in that perspective. Now, advantage of being alumni, I mentioned to you that if you want to progress from top-up to master's degree, you get 25% of credits. Now, I just wanted the figure on that percentage, just to see how much it is. So it's about £4,000 to £5,000 that you get as a reduction in tuition fees if you continue between undergraduate and postgraduate with us. As I mentioned, we waive off certain conditions. English language, obviously, you meet that standard, you might not have to do an IELTS, letter of reference, statement of purpose, academic transcripts. We don't require you to do that, but we require everyone, so that's not part of this school. Fast track operations, you apply, we know you are from here, we'll issue an offer within sort of 3-4 days, conditional offer letter, and then you meet all those conditions with our support because you'll get direct support from our university. And that's it really. What we say is from shared intent to shared impact. This is just the beginning because it's where the partnership is starting here. And as Dr. Rich mentioned, we are looking to grow. It's a unique approach. It's very much in line with the education policy in India, and if you know about it, but also very much in line with our policy in the UK, which was recently made available. And as of the vision earlier on, we are ahead of the game in terms of this partnership and this way of teaching you with practical, experiential development ways to make sure that once you finish your Australian diploma, in this case, right, you are the most attractive, employable, with the strongest profile out there, and you can go and do great things in life. But this is truly unique, and this is the direction of the education sector, both in India and the UK, and we are ahead of the game. And we're really pleased to have you here, and part of the program. And I really hope that you look into it, come and ask questions if you have any, because you know you are really in a very good place at school level and as part of this partnership that is an ecosystem as mentioned. Thank you so much, students. If you have any questions, go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your beautiful voice. As Mr. Vinith Sinha, Director of Arts and Guys, I request you to stand. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your cooperation. As Mr. Vinith Sinha, Director Cybersecurity Mastercards is with us. So I request you to come forward and share his insight on industry expectations in future and scale global credit.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Am I audible? Right? Everybody? Yes, sir. I will probably not use the mic. It's much more easy to talk than have a conversation. And this is going to be more of an interactive session rather than having like a monologue session where I only present and copy you guys here. Okay. But before we get started, let me ask you this question. I think the topic today that we have is very interesting. Okay. It's all about cybersecurity. Okay. But before we get into deep dive a little more into some of these features, I want to understand what is your understanding about cybersecurity? Anyone who wishes to answer that, because you must have heard this term, right? Cybersecurity. Everybody is getting attacked today, right? Every organization is struggling with so many of data breaches that are happening. What is cybersecurity all about? While you identify a thing and answer to this question, let me just quickly get on with something else so that I can demonstrate why it is important to get into the space of cybersecurity. Okay. Okay, guys, let's stop talking and then probably focus here. Okay. And then please help me in answering the question that I just asked you. What is your understanding about the term cyber security? Anyone who wishes to, maybe you can also seek help of Chat GPT, Cloud AI. There are so many of the chat online AI platforms today, right? Maybe you can just, you all have mobile phones today, right? So probably you can seek help there. Okay. Identify what you mean by the term cyber security. Okay. Till the time you guess an answer, I'll probably set up something for you so that you get to see a view it. Okay. What is, okay, everybody concentrate on the screen. Okay. What is that you get to see here? What is that? These flash of lights which are flowing from US to China or from Australia to, what are these? Maybe something new for each one of you. Okay. You can play in your system as well when you go back home. Okay. But let's understand what are these. What is happening here? Anyone?
Potential cyber attacks.
It's not a potential cyber attack. It's actually a cyber attack which is happening in a real-time scenario. Okay. And these are happening, and you are able to see this because of the fact that there are products which are sitting in this space which are actually identifying the real attack which are getting targeted to the organizations or to the country itself. Now, interestingly, you will see that in the US itself, there are plenty of attacks which are happening. Okay. Why? Which are those organizations which are sitting into this space? At least in the US, which are these organizations which are sitting here? Anyone? We keep hearing these terms. Google, Microsoft, right? Look for the location where they are. Yeah? California, Denver, right? There are certain organizations which are also headquartered in Mexico, Canada, right? Now, is this only meant for the science graduate or are they also for the other graduates who are part of like commerce or arts? Can they also get into something like a cybersecurity program? Yes. Okay. If yes, why? And if no, why? Come on, guys. You have mobile phones. Use AI, Chat GPT, Cloud AI, right? There are many more. यार मैं बोलता रहूंगा आप पहले सुनते रहोगे. Not fair. Okay. Good morning. My question is very simple. My question is that first, what do you understand by the term cybersecurity? And my second question, follow-up question is cybersecurity only meant for science graduates or science students, or is it also for the commerce and the arts students as well? And if yes, why? If no, why? Very simple. The fourth group, where are you guys lost? In your mobile phones. Okay. All chat GPT, yeah. So good to see. Okay. I think the whole purpose of having this session is to open eyes for you that why cybersecurity has become so important. As rightly pointed, and you can see on the screen itself. Today, cyber attackers, they are not seeing or identifying which region or organization have to be targeted. They are looking for a potential hotspot for themselves where they can target and gain some information out of it. Right? Now, the hackers or the hacker groups or the attacker groups that we want to use the term interchangeably in our world is primarily their whole purpose in life is to gain an access to an organization system or individual information, and then they start going and selling it into the dark web. Now, what is dark web? Anyone who is familiar with the term dark web? मैं यार ये सब चीजें तो आप लोगों के लिए सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है. ये तो आप लोगों के जनरेशन में सब कोई जानता है.
Like the underworld of it.
Correct? No, it's not a cybercrime. So what you see, the internet that you use today is only the 30% of the internet traffic that is there. Okay? 30% is that which is visible through your naked eyes, which is like you don't have to install, you are using your Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge in terms of accessing these websites. But whereas when you talk about the dark web, there is a special software that is required that is called as Onion. Okay, you can install it on your machine, and through that you can get into the dark web. Okay, that does not mean कि आप अपने machine में install कर दो उसके बाद use करो. Okay, don't do that. There are repercussions to it. Okay, before you install, there are a lot of VPN connections that you need to put in so that you are able to effectively securely able to navigate through that. अगर आप नहीं करोगे, then there are so many of these websites and platforms which are there, which have already have malwares, ransomware, which will immediately impact your machine. Okay. So my advice is that this is only from an informational purposes, not for you to practically practice this. Okay. So make sure that you do not practice this. Okay. But this 70% of the traffic, right, which is sitting in the dark web, is primarily where these attackers go and largely sell this information. Okay. And each data set, like my PII, in each scenario, and his associated PII, like his Aadhaar card number, PAN card number, his bank account detail, everything, have a stipulated value in the dark web world. Why? Because then, आपको ये random phone में आते हैं, आपके parcel आ गए हैं, और आपका parcel, where are they getting these information from? Dark web. And they will try to target you. And these cyber criminals, then they con you and steal money from you. Then they all have a stipulated sharing in between, right? I'll give 5% to this guy, 10% to this guy, 30% to this guy, like that, okay? So everything is like it's a proper industry in itself. But what is important is that how we protect ourselves. Okay. And when we talk about the protection, you have to look at it from two different perspectives. One, who are technical folks, who are technically strong, who have good understanding of coding, who understand the products and solutions which are in the cybersecurity space. And there are second set of people who understand about these processes. Okay. Fair enough? Clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me get into the presentation. Anyone have any question on this slide so far? क्या हो रहा है क्या नहीं हो रहा है कुछ पूछना है आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है I can get you more. Okay, let me. And this is something that you can also play at your home as well. Not only this one, but you can also pick on any of these. Okay, let me just see in case it opens up for you. It is opening here. Okay. See, top attackers, 84% are coming from US. Numbers. Okay. Top attack country. India is sitting at number 2, 22%. Okay, followed by Japan, which is at 70. But this is the real-time data as of now. It keeps changing based on the situation. Okay, because India is awake right now. So all attackers generally try to target the country during the early morning hours or late night hours. Okay, so that is the reason why you see a volume at this point of time. But later during the day, when Europe gets up, okay, when Africa and other continents also get up, you'll see there is a variation. Okay, but India, because of a heavy population and हम थोड़े से लापरवाह टाइप के लोग माने जाते हैं, करेक्ट? जैसे हमने साइबर सिक्योरिटी तो हमने सबने सुना है, लेकिन साइबर सिक्योरिटी के बारे में होता क्या किसी को पता नहीं है, राइट? Whereas this generation is at least expected to answer some of these questions, right? Because आप इतने chat GPT और ये सब तो आजकल lot of platform has been made available for you. So, but this always ranges between 22 to 15 to 22% for India. Okay. और ये सोचो कि अगर एक vulnerability किसी एक organization में exist करती है, that is more than enough for any attacker to gain an access. Just one vulnerability. Even your college, for now, may also be getting attacked. We don't know. So everything is getting attacked on a real-time basis. यहाँ तक कि आपके मोबाइल फोन है वो भी स्कैन हो रहा है. It's not that you are left alone. Okay, I'll tell you and I'll give you a very interesting fact that if in case in 2023 any one of you would have switched your Samsung phone from a Samsung phone to a Samsung phone at that point of time, or there is a switch app of Samsung, right? If in case you would have used it between the period from June to September of 2023, your mobile phone was hacked. There is already an intruder who is sitting into your mobile. अभी आप चेक कर लेना कि अपना मोबाइल फोन अगर खरीदा था नहीं खरीदा था, या आपके घर वालों ने किसी ने खरीदा था नहीं खरीदा था, and you can figure it out. Okay, and if yes, then please go ahead and reboot the system or go to the previous version of the operating system of that particular mobile. Okay, these are important stuff for you to know. Okay, this is general awareness. It's not that some expert have to come in and then probably talk about it. This is all about general awareness, and everything is in the newspaper. So please start reading the newspaper, understand what has been talked about in the cybersecurity world, and make sure that you are aware about it. Now that's a broader Gyan session for you. Okay, but let's come back to the topic. Now why we know, right? Why cybersecurity matters today, right? We understood the rationale why cybersecurity is important and why awareness is also important, correct? Yes? Yes or no? Yes, sir. Louder. Yes. Brilliant. Now, from a commerce or art student, what is the advantage that they have in this space of cybersecurity? Which I'll say technical guys lack. Even I used to lack. I realized after I spent like 5 to 7 years in the industry. But what is that advantage that the business administration guys have versus the science students? Come on, guys. Wake up. You'll always see that the business administration student understand business. They know like finance, how do we structure a business, what are the set of intricacies that they need to really focus upon, right? Whereas the technical guy may be good at like coding, but he may not be a good project management professional. He may not have कि organization कैसे चलती है, उसका क्या impact होगा अगर वहां पे revenue loss होगा, correct? This is something which the business guys are better able to articulate. They have a good communication skill. Now, people who are like English graduate, people who are like, let's say, commerce graduate, they have a better communication skill versus a technical guy, right? Will you guys agree with me?
Yes.
Yes. You'll always see that the technical guys lack a little bit, and they are not able to articulate in terms of the business terms that why some of the focus on the business side of the piece is important, correct? So I think that is where it is very, very important as an individual, as an entity, that we also have a focus on some of these pieces, right? Now, what is that ease that it brings to the table from a cybersecurity? They are able to better articulate the regulation, right? They are better able to draft the policies and processes. They are able to effectively understand and navigate through the business terms, that is in case there is a potential loss to any organization because of any data breach, what is the business impact that will cause to that? Correct? So that's the advantage that the business administration guys have. And that is why, if you look at it, they can be good fit into some of the important areas like policy drafting. They can be good at governance and risk compliances, right? Where they can build policies, processes, they can define regulations, they can be good at building some kind of an analytics for that matter, right? In the space of analytics, because there's a lot of re-engineering has to be done. That is where they can come very, very handy in terms of doing a lot of the data analytics, right? And when you look at cyber security, that's like what we were seeing right now. It was just an information of a particular, just a very, very high level overview, right? But in a real time basis, let's say in case I am an organization and I'm from morning to night, I'm continuously receiving attacks, correct? You just think through how much is the data volume that has to be looked into, right? And that needs an analysis because everything you cannot predict on a real-time basis. You need to have some kind of a data analytics where you identify what is actually transforming into a real attack for your organization and what is there which is just doing a reconnaissance. What is reconnaissance? Reconnaissance is basically that you are not doing anything, but you are just trying to gather the information of that organization. Okay? And that is where data analytics platforms come and bring a lot of value add. And that is why business administration guys have a lot of leeway into some of this space. There are certain set of what do you call it? Career progression timelines that we have kept. If in case you are into 0 to 5 years, okay, you can pick up program, you can become like a GRC analyst, you can get into like a cyber risk analyst, you can get into third-party risk analysis, okay? If in case you are like 5 to 10 years of experience into this space of cyber security, you can become like a cyber risk manager, which is in the space of GRC. You can become a privacy officer. Now, India recently have released a new law, right? In the space of data protection. How many of you are familiar with that data protection law? DPDP Act. Anybody? No? Digital Privacy and Data Protection Act. It has just released. It's the first time that India have released such a law which focuses on how do we protect the privacy information of the individuals within the organization. That's a great aspect. That's a completely a new domain that has come in India. And because of that, lot of organizations today are crumbling that there are heavy penalties, which is like almost like 250 crores if in case the organization do not comply to these regulations. Okay. Which becomes like a potentially good career for you to think through. Okay. And there is not much of a technical expertise that is required. Okay. Cyber policy and assurance vendor. Today, as an organization, we work with multiple third-party entries. Okay. For multiple third-party entities, which is like I am an organization, I am seeking services from, let's say, multiple entities there, right? External to the organization. You could be having a housekeeping staff, you could be having your guards, which are there, right? Security guards. You may have that, let's say, you're seeking some supplies, which is in the hardware support, right? Let's say in case your organization is using Dell and HP laptops. Obviously, with so many employees working in the organization, there will obviously be some challenges related to the laptop, right? With this efficiency, working condition, right? So you need to give access to the third party supplier to your organization. But when they do not generally, the OEM do not come, right? Is they will send some other third party where they have outsourced. Now they bring a lot of risk because when your laptops are managing a lot of sensitive data, right, of your organization, and if they gain access to those information, it could lead to an impact for the organization at large, correct? So what we do? We do a third party risk assessment whether they are bringing any risk for the organization, right? To be assessed. So those are your career paths. You can become a CRO, Chief Risk Officer. Today, from a financial standpoint, from an operational risk standpoint, from a cyber risk standpoint, from a technology risk standpoint, organization have started putting a position of CROs, which are complacent enough to understand the risk around all financial aspects, operational, technology, including the cyber risk. Technical guy, let's be very honest. He may not have that great understanding, but he may gain an expertise over a period of time, but upfront he does not have that leeway. So he will also like what you guys will learn a little bit on the technical side of the piece. We also have to spend some time on the financial side of the piece or the operational side of the piece at the same time to take up that position, right? Okay, CISOs also have primarily okay, CISOs generally also have, there are two tracks to CISOs. One are technical CISOs and the other are governance CISOs. Okay, one will like primarily more into the governance side of the piece, and the others who are more into the technical side of the piece. Okay. Can we look into this, please? Okay, so in the meanwhile, we bring this up. I think what is your roadmap? If in case you want to build a career, if in case you are a corporate graduate, how can you start getting into it, right? The way to go into it is to understand some of the fundamentals. Fundamentals about cybersecurity. Obviously, two critical aspects which you should be very, very familiar with, which you need to work a little harder, okay? Which is on the networking concepts and operating systems. OS, operating system, which is sitting, which is Microsoft, and also on the networking concepts, which is like you have to come up to speed because that's the mandate which you need to. But is it tough? Actually, the answer is not tough. With various, there are easy programs which are available for you in the market. With a small amount of effort that you put in, you can gain a lot of knowledge. So that's obviously one area which you can definitely focus upon. Then there are programs of network security and privacy. There are privacy related programs which are already designed, where it tells you like how is the data flowing from an X organization to a Y organization, who all have access to that information, who is the custodian of this information, who is processing those information, right? Which are critical aspects, which is very easy to do. Okay. So you can also look at getting into the data privacy area as well. Third, which we were talking about, like data hunting. Data hunting, right? So in case there is a lot of data which is getting generated through these products, right? Which we were just talking about. Now, this will have a lot of information, right? And you need to do a lot of this data analysis, correct? To identify from where a particular threat have originated, which protocol was being used in terms of bypassing it, which are the set of assets which are getting targeted. And for this, you don't need to be a technical guy, right? With the set of rules that are already drafted, you can easily identify this information, and with this information, you will be able to effectively do that analysis. Thank you. With that information, you will be able to easily do that analysis. So there are some lucrative careers into that space. SOC analysis, threat hunting, threat intelligence, right? Where you don't have to be a technical guy, with just some basic understanding of the network security and the operating systems, you will be able to perform those roles. Okay? तो अगर आपको ये लगता था कि अभी तक अभी साइंस वाले बंदे ही खाली साइबर सिक्योरिटी के डोमेन में जा सकते हैं, तो अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज रॉन्ग. You'll see many of the CAs, okay, many of the chartered accountants today in this space of cybersecurity. Why? Because as an organization, any organization, they need to get a certificate from a certified CA to demonstrate that they are following some of the best practices from a cybersecurity standpoint. Okay, they need to get it signed. Okay, this is required by law, which is by RBI, IRDAI. Okay, some of the regulatory agencies, they mandate that you get a certificate signed by a certified CA or a CS, which gives an attestation that the control environment of the organization is working effectively. Okay, which means that आपको आप टेक्निकल बंदे हो तभी आपको उनके पास जाना ही पड़ेगा साइन कराने के लिए, करेक्ट, for them to give you an attestation. Now, what these guys have started doing is they have started creating a vertical in itself within their own organization who does this technology audits and validate, and they are largely the CAs, okay, because they can only sign that certificate. It's always easier to represent in front of the authorities, the regulators. Correct? Any questions so far? किसी को कोई question? Anyone? No? How many of you are like commerce or DBA students? Okay. Potentially you. And how many are science students? The rest are science? No. What about the others sitting? Commerce? Okay, commerce is like part of commerce and arts, right? Let me ask you, commerce and arts. How many from commerce and arts? Okay. That's a fairly good number, okay. And thank you so much. And rest are science. Okay, brilliant. So I think now, any question for the commerce and the arts students so far? Do you think that cybersecurity still makes way for you to get into that space? Can you make your career into cybersecurity now? Are you aligned with my vision here? Yes? Yeah? Okay. Brilliant. Science वालों को छोड़ देते हैं, ठीक है? This is not for the science. Okay. Do you guys also want to hear something? I think the science students lack in certain areas. Their analytics skills is very poor. Let's be very honest. Their communication skills are very poor. And what else is very poor? Their business understanding is also very correct. You'll agree with that, right? No. No? Then probably I have to have a discussion. What you are good at is you understand the concepts a little. I'll give you a very funny example. Okay, I was recruiting for my organization last year. Okay, everybody, please be silent, guys. Okay, I was recruiting last year for my organization. Okay, and I was actually looking to hire few people into the cybersecurity space. Now, interestingly, I went to a college in Delhi and we started interviewing candidates. The candidates were from the science background as well as engineering, which was like electrical, electronics, and telecommunication. Okay, we started interviewing people. The good part was we didn't find any eligible candidates from that. Okay. Then we went to civil and mechanical folks. I was hiring for my cyber security. So there were like few freshers openings there in my team. And for a surprise, I found four individuals who qualified that for that role. Okay. Whereas we anticipated that none will qualify because we have already looked at the top notch of the guys there in the electrical and the computer science, but unfortunately we couldn't find any there. But when we moved to like mechanical and civil, interestingly we found four individuals. Now, what is that difference that was there between the two set of groups, which was computer science and electrical engineers versus the mechanical and the civil guys? What would be that differentiation which would have triggered for us to hire that four individuals from the mechanical and the civil background? And that is the space where cybersecurity, where they don't understand anything about technology. What would be that differentiating factor? Can anyone tell me? No? Okay. Anji, दोस्त मेरे सवाल का जवाब दोगे क्या? आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ मैं। नाम से अंजी। अरे ब्रेकिंग Oh, I love that. Can you repeat the question? Okay. Who else? Who else? Yes. आप नो क्या क्वेश्चन क्या लग रहा नहीं पता मेरा पूछते पूछते क्वेश्चन मैं खुद भी भूल गया क्वेश्चन Okay, the real difference was that the effort that these guys have put in terms of learning a particular topic was much more than the people who were part of the computer science and electrical engineering. Why? Because they got complacent. They said, मेरे को तो पता है, I know already, मैं क्यों नहीं पढ़ूं? And whereas these guys, mechanical and the civil guys, they knew that they will not be able to make their career into the technical domain. So they got deep dive into the subject and learned every small basic which was required. And that is what we see as a differentiation. Right? So that's the reason why if you are a science graduate, don't assume that you know everything. Start getting deep dive into some of the pieces. And that's the problem with these technical guys. That we get, हम एक बार पढ़ते हैं बोलते हैं we know everything. So stop doing that one. Okay, and that's where the value add with the commerce and the art student is that when they get into a particular topic because they don't know, they get deep dive into some of these pieces, and that makes them easy for them to be employable. Okay, so that is the reason why. Plus, they get those technical expertise. Plus, they already have this business acumen, right? They have a good communication skill. They are good analytics guys, right? Which obviously make them far more superior than the technical. But it's not that the technical guys are not there. Whole of the industry today is almost like 78% is like who are sitting into Microsoft and Google and Mastercard for that matter. They're all technical guys. Not that I'm saying that they all are stupid. Not the case. I think what is for us is that when we start getting into some of these areas, like what we were talking about in the morning when we started our conversation, cybersecurity needs to be, you need to be hands-on the real-time information that is flowing in. right? And then only you will be able to pave your career into this direction. Again, you need to be good coders. You need to have good understanding about the operating system, the network, right? You need to understand about how the data flow happens. Some of these are very, very important aspects. Again, from a ports and protocol standpoint, you need to be very, very clear, like what ports, what are protocols, right? TCP IP अभी मैं आपसे पूछूंगा तो आप में से 90% साइंस के स्टूडेंट जवाब नहीं दे पाएंगे. Okay? You must have heard, right? TCP IP engineering में I think it's like first year का subject है TCP IP, right? TCP UDP में किसी को difference पता है? अरे पूछूं मैं? नहीं. Science graduates, I saw almost half of them like science graduate, right? But still you will not be able to answer that. Okay, 7 layer of OSI layer. 7 pillars of OSI layer. Anybody? No. This is what is base. This is you need to be familiar with. None of you have raised your hand yet. And surprised. And these are fundamentals which you will be challenged when you will be going to the interviews. TCP IP में handshake होता है, correct? Three-way handshake. Sin, synact, act, right? No, किसी को याद नहीं, right? होता है ना? Three-way handshake होता नहीं होता है, science students. Plus, the complexity gets even more worse with AI and CI/CD pipeline getting integrated, right? अभी तक तो एक से कम निकल नहीं पा रहे थे, दूसरा और आगे AI पता नहीं, right? So guys, you need to develop that technical expertise. Okay? And this is especially for the science students that don't assume okay, whatever has been taught into your classes, please focus and get that expertise. Then only you can make your career into these technical areas. Okay. Then again, like this is just a very high level 30,000 feet. How you can take your career over the next 15 years, starting from 0 to 5, what kind of a career you can choose, 5 to 10, and then from 10 to 15. Okay. Obviously, you can reach to a level of CISO. CISO is Chief Information Security Officer, who is the highest competent authority in an organization, which mandates not only the security governance structure, but also looks at all of the security around the products and the profiling as well for them. Right? And there are certain set of programs that the employability team have, recruiter team have already created, and you can look at those. And if in case you are willing to make your career towards the space of cybersecurity, you can enroll for these programs and you can start getting your way to the cybersecurity career. With that, thank you so much for your time today. I hope you guys have enjoyed.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable thoughts, insights of the industry. And now I would like to invite Mr. Dice. I request you to kindly be silent for some time. A pin drop silent I want from you guys, right? Yeah, great. So I am now inviting Mr. Manish Sharma, Project Strategy Head, Future Innovation Studios, to share his thoughts on strategic industry collaboration in student industry. It will help you as he is in this topic. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
There's just few more sessions and then we'll be done. How many of you have heard about investment banks? Okay. Do any of you invest in startups or public market, stock market, any of you? You do? Okay. Crypto, okay, okay. So crypto में process है IPO, ICO होता है वहाँ पे, right? Which is initial call offer. So what does that do is कि आपका whatever the private market is, it initially takes it to the public market. That's what the process is. Similarly, in stock market, what usually happens is companies become private, they become public to invest, right? And who are the people who are responsible to do that? Have you heard about Grotto?
Zomato. Okay. Zomato का there was a case which has come recently that there was a lot of public criticize which has happened in Zomato because of few policies here and there. And their CEO just recently resigned. Right? Why did that happen? Do you think he would have resigned if it was a private company as opposed to a public company? Okay. So what do investment bankers do? So they take care of two things. First is the capital flow. So capital flow is you people investing in companies, you people investing in private companies or public companies, or you doing anything. આજકાલ gold is there, silver is there, you investing in anything, right? The broker who suggests you everything or they make that happen is the investment bank, right? Second thing is the advisory of things. That where should you invest? Why should you invest? What sort of return can you expect? What should be the value of the company that you're investing in? Should be there. Have you heard about a term merger and acquisition? You have, right? Can somebody give me an example of any M&A activities happening? But so okay, so Airtel and Vistara, this merger has happened, or even Vodafone an idea for an example, right? What was the value of that company, and how did they come to decide that this is the value that I should be acquiring this company or merging this company at? Okay, let's just take an example, a small example. So, have you heard about a term which is PE ratio? PE ratio you have? You have?
Yes.
Okay, somebody has. Okay. So PE ratio may what we determine? That is the value of that company is fair or not. Right? Whatever that you're paying for that company or the share of that company, is that fair to you or not? Or can you expect a better return over the period of time? That's it. So how do we value a company? Let's just say any of you have a business, family business, anything as such. कोई फैमिली बिजनेस है किसी का या खुद का भी बिजनेस है कोई स्टार्टअप कर रहा है नो ओके किसी का मन है स्टार्टअप करने का
Yes.
यू हैव राइट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ स्टार्टअप थोड़ा सा और बोलिए recruitment based startup. Have you heard about people investing in startups, investors, venture capital, HNIs investing in startups? Angel investing you would have heard, right? So if I'm an angel investor, if I'm investing in a company, how should I decide that this is the amount and this is how much equity I should be taking from your company?
It mostly depends on how much I think profit you.
Okay. But initial में कैसे होगा? Okay. So काफी सारी thank you. So there are multiple ways that you can put a value to a company. The most commonly used in the private market, which is the startup ecosystem and everything that you would have seen, is the TCF, which is discounted cash flow. So in that, what you do is that you try to understand what is the cash flow of a company or the revenue of a company over the period of 3 to 5 years, next 3 to 5 years, and then you discount it to today's date. You would have heard about discounting by now. Business student, commerce student, anybody? You would have heard about discounting, right? Okay. So what we try to do is whatever that I supposed to earn in year 5, I discount it today date. So every year we have inflation, every year we have other opportunities that we could explore. So we discount it back. Second thing is transitional budget. So let's just say I have a company which is into food startup. Let's just say that, right? Similar to Zepto, similar to Blinkit or anything as such. If I am approaching investors in that space, I could say that Zepto has raised funding at X valuation at this revenue. I could say that, right? And the same multiple I could compare. Let's just say they have raised valuation at 20x of their revenue. I could also say that I also deserve 20x of revenue. Okay, that is that. Have you heard about private equity? Anybody of you? Private equity firms, anybody? Okay. So private equity uses a method which is leverage buyout, right? So leverage buyout means they take debts from banks, just to keep it simple. They take debts from banks, your pension funds and all those kind of things, and they usually invest in companies. So to invest, चाहे वो public market हो, whichever it is, चाहे either you are investing in stock markets, Bitcoin or anything as such, you have to mind the value of a company, the fair value of a company, right? And how do you do that? First, a DCF, which is what every company use, be it equity research company or startup advisors or CAs or anybody else, they use that. And then transaction multiple, precedent multiple, and all those kinds of things. Okay. So investment banking as a career, right? Have you heard about the firm JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley? You have, right? You would have also heard that these are high-paying companies, right? Okay. So whenever you start in this sort of company, what is the average salary that you could expect? Let's just say you start as an investment bank analyst, banking analyst, right? Which is just after your graduation, you usually do that. What is the average salary that you could expect? 13, 14 lakh. थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा हो गया. So you usually do that as an associate, right? So associate is usually you do once you have the MBA. So the way the career works in investment banking or be it private equity or venture capital or anything else is that just after your graduation you start as an analyst, right? You work there for 2 years, then you go for your masters, which would be an MBA, and then you come back as an associate. So when you start as an analyst, you earn somewhere between 8 to 15 lakh rupees to up to 20 lakh rupees, depending on the location, depending on the banks that you choose. Indian banks usually pay on the lower end, and then international banks like JP, for an example, or any venture capital, for an example, pays on a higher end, right? So analyst, you earn somewhere between 8 to 15 lakh rupees up to 20 lakh rupees. Then you come as an associate, you earn the salary that you were saying, 25 to 30 lakh rupees. Then it goes up to partner MD level, where you end up earning between few crores to few $1 million, right? Because partners, what they usually have is they also have equity within the deals that they make. So let's just take an example. So let's say I am a partner of a deal which is Zepto को कोई buy कर रहा है, right? So somebody is buying that. So I will get a share of that deal, whatever the revenue that we make, you will get a share out of that. So these could be your typical career graph, how it looks. So you start as an analyst, you become an associate within 2 3 years, then you become VP within 5 to 10 years, and then you become a partner or an MD depending on the bank, which will 10 to 15 years of time. Salaries are listed over here. Some of the major companies that you will hire. Anytime you have Morgan Stanley, BNP, Barclays, UBS. Then you have Indian banks like HDFC also have. Then you have other banks like Citi and all those kind of banks. And this is how it works in terms of valuing any company, be it private or public. So you do DCF, you do presidential, you do anything, and this is what it is, and this is what you do. Any questions that you have? Oliver. So EBITDA is, you could say it's an operational level profitability, right? So on the top, you have revenue. You have maybe if we sales, this is my revenue, right? Then you have direct expenses. So direct expenses could be, let's take an example of Zomato per se, right? So whatever revenue that I earn, I share commission to the restaurant, right? I share commission to XYZ platform. That is my direct expense. In terms of a manufacturing company, my direct expense would be raw material, labor charges over there. That would be my direct expense. After that comes your gross profit, right? That is your profit after the direct expense. Then you have costs like HR cost, your admin cost, and all those kind of things, your operational cost. After that comes EBITDA, right? So in startup ecosystem, EBITDA is the highly used term and highly used metric to understand that what is the profitability of this company over the years that we could ask or we could achieve, right? And then you have expenses like interest and all those kind of things, and then you come to PAT, which is the bottom line or the profitability after tax. Any other question? No? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request our video director, sir, Professor Manish Sharma, and to present for to our esteemed guests as token of appreciation and remembrance. Mr. Lee, please come forward, sir. Please come here. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time. I request Mr. Puri was on head of. Yes, guys. Kindly be silent. I request Mr. Puri Gupta, head of legal compliance, Future Innovation Studio, to address the audience on industry compliance, ethics, real world exposure for students. Sir, over to you, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure you must be, updated by now with a lot of information coming in, and you have been updated with a lot of new information about, one of the things which started from Dr. Vishnu Bhattacharya, and then we went into cyber attacks and stuff like this. And has this information got any benefit to you? Yes, okay. That's very nice to hear that. Now, before I start this, I will give my introduction. I have some questions. I would like to know that how many of you are actually looking to go to abroad in the future? Okay. And which country, ma'am? Australia, UAE. Anyone else who want to go to abroad? Which country? UK. So only few people have got some interest in going to abroad. What about the rest? You want to stay here and complete your education? No? You're saying no, but you're not raising the hand. That's good. Right. So, yes, anyone from your family members are going to the UK or Australia or anywhere else? Yes. Where? Canada. Okay. How was your experience? Is was student as a student? Okay, was the process complicated? Okay. So this question is for those who are not going to Australia and for those who are going to UK or want to go to overseas. Do you think that you are not taking this one because the process is very, very tricky, or it is costly? What is the reason? What do you think? You must be having some reason, right? And the students, of course, and the students who wants to go to UK, do you think the process is tricky, man? For UAE or for UK, do you think the process is tricky? Okay. How many of you think that the jobs which we have today will exist in future? How many of you think? Yeah. No. So the jobs which are existing today will exist in future. No, not existing. What about you? Any plans for it? How you can how you can update yourself, or how will be you will be relevant in future? What is the plan? Okay. Sorry, AI.
Right. Okay. So that's the plan. Now, what we will be talking about today here is, since Dr. Vishwan Bhattacharya has already given you the background of Future Innovation Studio and Andreas here who has done the IDC figure studying for the entire DSPR. What does this serve for you? What is the benefit that this IDC will give to you after opening up? This will give you information. This will give you details about how to go to UK, Australia, and other countries. What are the options available? What are the courses available? How you can go via pathway programs or via that. Let me talk about myself and who we are, and I'll take you through the entire slides today. ATMC Education Group, we started in 2005 with a product called AUPP, Australian Verified Pathway Program, where first year was happening here in India and next 2 years were happening in Australia. We expanded our operations and we expanded our operations from Melbourne and we then expanded to Sydney, then we expanded to New Zealand, Canada, and now here in India. We have got multiple locations which from where we are operating. And today we are here with our Indian subcontinental team, the entire team for us. Can you help me? So today we are here to talk about the pathway programs, and the whole topic is around pathway, which India will not have already discussed to you. First is that first year of education will be happening here in India, and next 2 years will be happening in UK or in Australia. This is our global chart, where we started our journey as 2004 in ADMC, and then we expanded into Melbourne, then we expanded into Sydney, and then to New Zealand, Canada, and we also had APAC in Canberra, and now we are here in India. So we are having a history of 21 years of legacy with us. We are not an agent. We are here with a legacy of as an educator. Future Innovation Studio was introduced as a concept where we want to bridge a gap between academia and industry. We are right in the middle of it. We want our students who are learning should have a real experience and a real outcome in their career operations. What does that mean? Whatever you are learning should have a career outcome. And this is the whole focus of our IDC. The campus has an IDC center, which will let you know that how these education will directly have an impact in your career. This is the core idea, and this is where we started with our concept of future innovation studios. Right now, we have got 15 innovation centers across India, Africa, and Vietnam. And we have got 20 plus university partnerships in India, UK, and Australia. The pedagogy has been discussed in detail today, and I also like to take a moment to make you understand that what does that mean. The pedagogy is very simple. Learn, solve, and create. We want our students to build a very strong foundation
whether in business or in IT, with the help of AI. And we want our leaders shaping the industry that will step into it. These education material will be then solved by the students by applying the real world global problems. You have heard, you heard Mr. Bean right now before me, and they were talking about the real problems. You have heard Mandeep talking about M&A. These are the concepts which we want you to understand first. And these real problems actually give a employable career for you. Most of the terminologies you have heard, but you're not aware. Similarly, when you are studying most of the things, you are not able to relate to how this real world will be behaving when you will be getting into a job. M&A, when Mandeep was talking about M&A, some of them, apart from that Vistara, there has been so many M&As which has taken up, but we are not able to answer it up. Why? The information is not there. So it's very important for all of us to get into that real problems. And once you get into the real problem, one of the students I remember was saying that I want to start up my own, right? But how you want to start up? How you will pitch to the investors? How you will go and ask for the funding? That's the real pitching, and that is where you need the help of the IDC. IDC team will help you out during this entire process. This is the whole objective of opening up the IDC in DSPR. Some of the industry mentors you have just met, Mandeep Sharma you have met, Mr. Vineet you have met, and like this we have got different industry experts who will be coming and talking about in their different fields. They will be talking about healthcare, they will be talking about IT, accounting, finance, and similarly so on. They will be coming up with industry problems and will talk to you about how you can solve this problem so that you are industry ready. That is the whole objective. We have our partnership with Coventry University, where first year will be happening here in India and second year in UK. And they has given you all the details of how, they will be helping out in the process of the applications, how our students will be prioritized because they know that applications are coming from certain institutes. You will be given the visa guidance. Not only this, at the IDC center, you all will be given the facility of bank finance. We have got ties with the banking institutions who will help you out for your tuition fees installment plans based on case-to-case basis, but we will definitely help you out in that one. IDC centers has the representatives who will give you all this information. Anyone who wants to have more information about courses at Coventry University or Federation University in Australia, if someone wants to go in Australia, we have all these informations available at the IDC centers placed at the ground level. These are some of the courses, India has already discussed about it. Whatever courses you are doing here, they have got the transition into their own degrees. So first year, let's say you are doing over here. Second year will be happening in the Coventry universities, and they have been transformed into their degrees. So finally, you will be getting the degree from Coventry University. This is for the students who wants to go to the directly to Coventry University, not by pathway programs. So there's also one of the students who do not want to wait and they are hopeful that they can meet the deadlines and they can go directly. They want to do the entire journey in Australia or in UK. So in the IDC, there will be a counselor who will be sitting and who will be talking about the different countries, different programs. So they all have the information. So students who want to go directly can go and meet the counselors at the IDC center. Now, this is a student ambassador with IDC. We would like to have your nominations. Is anyone interested in becoming the student ambassador today? No. So any one of you who will be selected for becoming a student ambassador, they will be given a stipend. They will be given up industry exposure. Also, they will be allowed to host the events and they will be given the international training. They will be allowed to meet our international mentors and a leadership development. Not only this, and this is exclusively for this student ambassador, high achievers may qualify for university campus visit in Australia or in UK or in UAE. So any one of you interested, do let us know. We have our team there who can fill up your nomination and then we can interview and select the candidate and put it on the student ambassador. Right. So this is about the IDC which we have opened up today. You have got the information from Andrea, Dr. Vishnu Bhattacharya, Dr. Vinay Sinha, Mandeep Sharma, and we are offering 3 things here. Number one, the pathway programs. Number two, the direct students. And number three, we are coming up with the short courses as well. So all these details are available in the IDC center. If you are interested, please do come and let us know. Okay. Any questions from any people regarding pathway programs or the direct students recruitment or short courses? Okay. Thank you so much. We look forward for your participation and have a great day.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your difficult points. As we move towards the conclusion of this conversation, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to all our dignitaries, speakers, faculty members, organizing teams, students for making this event a great grand success. A special thank you to Future Innovation Studios for partnering with DSPSR in this visionary initiative. I would like to call our director, sir. Okay, so I think Mr. Tarun Agarwal would like to share some thoughts with you. Sir, please come forward.
This segment is very much important for you all. I think we have been talking about so many things, but the criteria we did not discuss, the eligibility criteria for you all.
For student investorship.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, guys, hello. So I won't waste much of your time. I just wanted to let you know what are different admission criteria, eligibility for you to get enrolled in our process and how you can become an investor. So I think most of you already have some flyers. You can also scan them and see the details of it. But just to give you a round forward of it, we are focusing on our pathway programs, our study abroad programs, our ambassador programs, and all of them are differentiated because based on your needs, whether you want to start here first, get skill ready, and then move abroad, or you want to directly go there, or you want to be an ambassador first, and you want to do some skill up course here, and then you want to see, okay, whether I wish to go abroad or I have successful career here or not. So if I look at this particular section, I only listed a couple of criteria which you can get started. So entry requirements, application process, as I mentioned, we are talking about master's programs, study abroad, and the short courses which are industry-led programs. So if I talk about a general perspective of what is the entry requirement, for our pathway program, the base entry requirement is that you have your year 12 completion level. You do not need IELTS right now to start your learning. You can over the period get it before. You can start as early as today, and you just need to go through a pre-training learning literacy test, which is kind of an assessment which tells you, okay, you are almost there, but you need some little help to get enrollment, get global ready. So you have to do that some simple test so that we can understand, okay, that you need that much of attention and help from our as an industry. Depending on the university you are selecting in UK, depending on the university you are selecting in Australia, you have that criteria, we are helping you out to understand. So this is the basic entry requirement for any pathway program which you are enrolling right now. And if I talk about our ambassador programs, all those who are willing to go to a training model, who are willing to understand what exactly is ambassador is, you just need to get your interest submitted to us. So the flyer will probably demonstrate you in a while. You just need to scan that, show your interest, our counselor will talk to you, help you understand what this ambassador program really means in detail, and how you as a student can earn a stipend and be trained with global industry leaders as Mr. Puneet has mentioned to you all. Okay. And for the short courses, we do not have initial requirements, but we want people to have some kind of interest in the process of our completion of programs. Sorry. So if you are a student who's already graduate or you are looking for someone who wants to become a professional, there are no prerequisite requests, no English test required. You only need to show an interest that what sort of interest course you want. For example, you want to be a cybersecurity expert, you want to be an investment banking course. You can go to our website, you can apply there. We'll show that flyers also in a while, so that you can have those flyers, you can scan it, flyer and click directly. Go to the website, see the academic requirements also, and see the program details in general, and you can apply that. Okay. So not wasting much of time, that's the basic general idea of how this will impact. I will ask ma'am to take forward.
Yeah. So we are we are going to do towards conclusion. I would like to call our directors for to share some thoughts regarding the same. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm here to propose the vote of thanks for the August gathering for the Galaxy of Intellectuals. Dr. Rishi, Ms. Andrea, Mr. Vinny Sinha, Mr. Madeep Sharma, Mr. Puneet, and Mr. Tarun. Thank you so much to you all. And some of people are not here in absentia. On behalf of the entire DSPSR family members, from the seventh floor of my heart, being the director of the college, from the seventh floor of my heart, I convey my thanks on behalf of the DSPSR family to you all. Thank you so much. And we are greatly enriched the gracious presence of all the top shot people from future. We all have witnessed the MOU signing and also exchanged the MOUs for the sake of DSPSR students. As Dr. Rishi already mentioned, that this initiative has not been taken, not even by a single college, not even by a single university in India. And we are the very first institution to come up with the same in collaboration with Future. And frankly speaking, Dr. Rishi Mohan Bhattacharya and Manish Malhotra, they are not here right now. And behind their back, I would like to tell you something about them. They were the main brains behind this idea to get the MOU signed. And the same has been taken into the execution today in front of you all. You all have witnessed the MOU signing prospects of the course. And the very important thing to understand for all of us was only one thing, that after graduation, after doing the course from future, you'll be able to get the 2 years work visa. This is a very new thing. No one is offering the same. And I must appreciate Miss India for coming all the way from Australia. UK, sir, UK. So I think you wrote that from UK. For you all. Can you have a standing ovation for me? Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Thank you. Nothing to say after this. Thank you so much to all of you and all the students. And again, I'm telling you, ma'am told and Sarojin told a lot of things. How can you apply for the same? And it's certain out. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your very good thoughts. This officially declared Who didn't get the flyer? I requested that he get the flyer. Kindly wait and get the flyer as well. With this, we officially declare Inauguration Development Center inaugurated. International Development Center has been inaugurated in DSPSR campus. Thank you everyone for your presence and participation. We look forward to your continued support as we open new global doors for our students. Have a great day. Everybody got the flyer? Yes. So from that, can you proceed towards your classrooms? Oh, I wish I had paid for next Friday. Let us people go downstairs, please wait for next minutes.